Guten Tag, my gacha-loving gamers. I hope you're having a wonderful day today, and I, Andre Napkin Man, am back for another tier list explanation. But before I do any of that, credits to Kana Ren in my carriers video in my comment section for pointing out the new tier list, Usagi Sensei version 50. So I'll be using this list from now on for any of my future explanations, and with that, let me briefly go over any significant changes to the tier list from the previous one so that my past videos are now up to date. Now, the one change in the battleship section is that, as you can see, Jeanne Bart has moved up all the way to the top of tier 1, which I believe is a very deserving place for her. She does a lot of damage, and she is extremely good. Now, moving down to the carrier section, the most notable change is that Enterprise has dropped down to the 4th place of tier 0. This is because I personally believe that she might have less versatility and not any special buffs or special skills compared to the other 3 that are above her. Essex has those amazing Eagle Union buffs, Centaur has that awesome slow, and Formidable stops time. They sometimes can inflict flooding, and there's all that cool extra like jazz stuff. Enterprise over here doesn't really have any special buffs or debuffs. She has her obviously overpowered Lucky E skill, which, don't get me wrong, is really good, but I think that just because of that lack of versatility, I think these other 3 carriers have jumped over her. Now, making it over to tier 1, we have the brand new ship Intrepid, who is another Essex class sister, who is the defensive one. She has an extra Helldiver airstrike, which is very good damage because Helldivers are the best dive bomber in the game, but it's not that centered. This means that the Helldivers will cover a wide range, which is very good for mob clearing, but it may not damage the bosses a lot. So, every other battle, she also switches between aviation buffs and decreasing damage taken, which is very nice to have. She's a nice sister. If you haven't pulled for her yet, I'd highly encourage you to do so because she is a very solid ship, and you could use her with Essex and Enterprise in tier 0, and you could have a very, very good carrier backline Eagle Union fleet. Now, with that, that's all cleared up. Let's go and move on to the next category, which is the heavy cruisers. Oh boy. So currently, in this Vanguard meta, it's centered around most of these heavy cruisers since they get this massive evasion boost once they get past level 100. Now that you can get your ship all the way up to level 120, that the evasion was their one main weakness, but now since they actually do have some decent evasion, they're actually really, really good. Their high HP pool combined with their high damage means that they have fantastic survivability and DPS. And currently for World 13, my Vanguards are mostly made out of them, and it's been working out really great for me. And with that all out the way, let's go in tier list. Now, kicking things off, we've got in tier 0 Azuma, who is the only rainbow heavy cruiser. I can't really say much about her because I don't have her yet personally, because I just can't build her yet. I just don't have enough XP. But I do know a couple of things. I know that she does insane amounts of damage with her HE gun, which lights people on fire and does incredible amounts of HE damage. And if you have her, you definitely should use her. She's a rainbow ship for a reason. That means she's got insanely good stats. Now next up is Roon. I'm going to be honest here, I don't have her, but many other people have talked about her, and I definitely know why she's up there. She, in my opinion, is the complete package of what a heavy cruiser should be. She has a nice offensive skill that lets her switch between AP and HE ammo, meaning that she is versatile against every single ship type. Now, with that, she also has a defensive skill that spawns shields that protects her and the other Vanguards, increasing their survivability and making her good in any situation possible. Moving on, we've got the brand new ship also, Bremerton, who is from the current event, and she is being compared to her sister Baltimore, who is one tier right below her, right there in the 4th section right here. Bremerton has a slight edge over her sister because they both have basically the same exact stats, except Bremerton over here has insanely good anti-air, and one of her skills actually boosts the anti-air even more when you place her in the middle or back position. That's insanely useful on World 13, where all of these planes are coming at your backline and you need to destroy as many as possible or else you will die. So that's a very good ship. Make sure that you get her during this event. You can buy her in the shop. You can get her as a rare drop on the last level. She is very good, and I would definitely recommend you grinding it out for her. Now moving on, as I said earlier, we have Baltimore. She has the same insane stats just like Bremerton. She increases the AA of the fleet when tied with an Eagle Union CV, and also that boosts their aviation as well by 15%, making a very good Eagle Union fleet with Baltimore and any other Eagle Union carrier like Enterprise, Intrepid, or Essex. All of them are insanely good together and they have great synergies. Now, as I said earlier, she is just a little bit worse than her sister Bremerton because she doesn't have that awesome AA, but she is very solid. She's also on my she has a spot on my team right now. She changes her ammo type to special AP, but that's not really that big of a deal. It's basically the same as AP ammo, just a little bit different of the damage multipliers, but overall after seeing her in battle, I can't really find a big difference between it. Now, next up we have Portland Retrofit, who is easily the best Vanguard to start off early game. Her insanely good stats for a blue ship and her extra defensive skill that decreases the damage taken of the Vanguard fleet is always going to be useful, and she is an amazing budget ship that outperforms tons of her higher rarity counterparts. As you can see from the tier list, she's only a purple, but that's actually just because of her retrofit. She's actually a blue, meaning that she's outperforming all of these SR ships and even these priority ships right here, which is absolutely insane. She's got very nice stats, and not even very nice, insane stats, and she's got very, very high evasion for a heavy cruiser, meaning that she is very survivable and she has very nice DPS. Last up is tier 0 for Minneapolis. Minneapolis is a very solid ship with very solid skills. All I can say is that she's got nothing too special about her, but she has the standard offensive skill and defensive skill. She gains firepower every time she sinks a ship, and she also has a self-healing mode that when her health drops below 30%, she heals a portion of that back. I'm pretty sure that ability is called like Doulahan or something. You really can't go wrong with her. If you have her, you could level her up. She's very nice too. Now starting things off in tier 1, we have the 2 priority ships, whom I both have at maximum blueprint level, which has taken me so long, but they are so good. So I would personally compare St. Louis and Ibuki to each other. They have different roles, but they are very good at performing their roles very well. So starting off with St. Louis, she uses HE for her main gun, which is amazing for dealing with escort fleets. So all those fleets that lead up to the boss fleet, she is amazing for that. Now, she has not really that much good stuff for boss fleets because her skills increase. She doesn't really have that drastic increase of damage or any kind of burst damage. She just kind of has straight up always nice consistent DPS, and her second skill gives her extra speed and evasion, making her really nice and survivable. Now on the other hand, on the polar opposite spectrum, we've got Ibuki, who is the definition of a nice boss killer. Now since all the PR ships have the extra siren damage buff, she can like one-shot these sirens in the event right now, and I am having so much fun playing around with her. She is basically a destroyer in a heavy cruiser's body. She starts out with not 1, but 2 torpedo shots loaded instead of 1. She has a secondary skill called Flash of Lightning that shoots out even more torpedoes on a chance. And all of her torpedoes now are buffed by her first skill that increases her crit rate and crit damage by 40% and 65% respectively. Now, if you haven't told by now, she has insane damage potential and she can take that damage out super fast because her torpedoes hit hard and they hit really, really, really nicely. Personally right now I have the rainbow quintuple torpedo magnet thing on her, and she has been destroying the event right now, and she is awesome. The Fate Stimulation, if you ever get there, she gives extra evasion when she launches a wave of torpedoes. That's very good. And overall, I would say that between St. Louis and Ibuki, I would say St. Louis has a very good job in dealing with the escort fleets, while Ibuki is a boss killer. Now combined, you could have them on both different fleets, or they're very good as the same fleet. But I'm just saying these two have different jobs, but they perform their roles very, very well. Now next up in Tier 1 is one of my personal favorites. Let's just take a moment and appreciate her design. Zara. Now, she's honestly just incredibly hot. I have no regrets to getting her to level like 113 on my account right now. She's got some very similar abilities to Baltimore and Bremerton, just like a little bit toned down and less good. Her defensive skill, just like Roon, summons shields that block incoming shells. Offensive skill gives extra damage to both HE or AP shells depending on what you use. But the thing is, her AP buff is, in my opinion, a little bit better because she actually lets the ships that she hits take more damage from her next consecutive shots when she uses AP ammunition. Overall, she's a very solid ship again, as I've said that a ton of times already. But really though, they're all good. Heavy cruisers are super good right now, and they are very in the meta. Now, next up in Tier 1 is our final contestant, Mogami Retrofit. She is very good, but the one drawback that lets her not get any further up in the list is that she takes a very long while to get going. She has an ability that increases her firepower every 20 seconds. Well, there's a chance to. It's very solid. She has a second ability that lets her take less HP damage, which is very solid. Everybody would always like that. And her third retrofit skill is that it increases her damage for every 5 torpedoes that she lands. So that is excellent for long battles, but the ideal torpedo that you would use is the quintuple magnet torpedoes, and they take forever to recharge. So that means that these battles that you might need to do in order to have Mogami at her fullest potential must have the battle go on for a very long time. That just isn't as good as the others, since they're just good from the get-go and you don't need to have them charge up any kind of skill or anything. They're just going to hit hard, hit fast, and hit good from the beginning. Now, since I'm done Tier 0 and Tier 1, I will go on to the notable mentions, and in Tier 3 I think that oh shoot, I mean Tier 2, I almost skipped out that. We have Tier 2, we've got London Retrofit. Now, as Just3C has said it, I will go and put his video in the description about her. She is the definition of a glass cannon. She has the 5th highest theoretical DPS for a heavy cruiser, right behind Baltimore, St. Louis, Roon, and Minneapolis with their skills. Now, the problem is with that, since a glass cannon is defined by something with a very high DPS but very low HP or defense, she will die very quickly if she is not well protected by both vanguards on both sides, thinking that you would put London Retrofit in the middle of the vanguards, and you will also probably need healers. Unless you were doing really easy content, then you don't have to worry about any of that stuff. Now, next up in Tier 2 is Prinz Eugen, I think. She's our free SR ship. Everybody's got her. She's hot. She's the same voice as Yae Sakura from Honkai Impact. And she's extremely defensive and extremely tanky. However, tankiness is just not as appealing as more DPS. You would want to go and clear this battle faster, just like how I said with Mogami Retrofit. There's no need to be able to survive longer or just take more time. You would just want your battles to go fast and just complete that as soon as possible. Now in Tier 3, I've got to give it to Takao. Oh shoot. Well, Takao's actually in Tier 2 because of her better skills, but I will link them all together. We've got Takao, Atago, and Choukai. They all roughly perform the same, just that Takao performs a little bit better because she has very good skills like double torpedoes, and the other one, I think, that doubles her shots or something. But really though, they're really good if you don't have access to the other higher ships on this list. But in reality, just upgrade Portland Retrofit. She's insane. She's a blue ship. You're definitely going to get her eventually, and a lot faster than most of the ships on this tier list. And she will do you good. She is just so good that She overrides so many other heavy cruisers. Portland Retrofit is just too good. Quick note, in Tier 4 you see Exeter Retrofit in the second place. She is very, very nice. I love her design, but basically everything about her is kind of terrible compared to everybody else. Her skills are mediocre, her stats are very average, and she costs a ton of money and materials for her retrofit. Honestly, if I have the time, I'm definitely going to retrofit her, but the thing is, I'm just going to do that just because I can, not because she's good. But other than that, this kind of wraps up this tier list for heavy cruisers using Usagi Sensei's new tier list. If you found this guide helpful, then consider dropping a like or even subscribe for future content. It really helps me out, and I really like being motivated to go and create more content as my subscriber count skyrockets in the past couple of videos. I really can't thank you guys more enough. I'm really happy that my content is good and that you guys are supporting it. So other than that, if you have a comment, leave it down below. If you have any questions on the ships that I've covered in this video, or if you have any general questions about other stuff, I'll try my best to answer them. There's no guarantee anymore that I will reply to every single comment, because that's a lot of comments that you guys have been posting. Now, other than that, the next video is going to be reviewing the light cruiser section, and there is a ton of good ships to cover, as you can see right here. That is a chock full of Tier 0, Tier 1, Tier 2, Tier 3, and Tier 4. That's a big amount. Oh boy. Well, hope you guys are doing good. I hope you guys are looking forward to the next video, and stay safe. I'll see you guys around. Bye guys.